right now in Houston, our athletic program and at the school, we're not getting a lot of negative tests. And you got to remember that when we talk about, oh, Texas, is having this horrible outbreak, it's still less than 1% of our population in Texas. And then we started the mask. So everybody's being real careful. I would love to come to New York, but your governor and mayor won't let me in New York unless I quarantine for 14 days, which is kind of ridiculous, but which is a reason that people aren't going to New York. But it's going well. What we're going to do is try to do about 20% in person and the rest virtually at the University of Houston. But we're letting each one of the campus somewhat decide themselves. And, this is a trying time from elementary school to junior high to high school to college. And we're all trying to make this work. And that's why we shouldn't really, even though I like to point the finger at certain people, when it comes to education, it's hard to point a finger what's right or what's wrong because we haven't done it yet.
I forget which conference Houston plays in. They are planning to play football this fall so far.
Yes, the American Athletic Conference, and we're planning to play. And, a lot of these athletes, Tyler, have really made a good point. If you don't have me there somewhat quarantined with my football team where my head coach and my coordinators are telling me, you go back to the athletic dorm, this is what you do, and they're being careful because their whole goal is to play on Saturday. So they don't want to practice 5 days a week and then not be able to play. So probably your athletes are behaving more than anybody out there and are truly social distancing. And that's why so many of them have said, and a lot of coaches have said, and ADs have said, if you don't give us this, then we're going to be out with everybody else. We're going to be going to the beach. We're going to be going to college kids are going to still get together. They're still going to have their beer parties. They're going to do whatever they have to do to have fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so there is a whole nother side here that we need to appreciate.
Yeah. Let's get to the question that you make, and I think it's spot on, and that is the idea that until not only the major urban areas of this country, but the destination places of this country for tourists, conventions, meetings, and more, until they start to come back, you're still going to have sandbags around the feet of this economy. It's New York City, where this morning the mayor announced that anyone checking into a hotel or into a B&B or an Airbnb, I should say, a short-term rental, is going to have to fill out a form. They're going to have to say where they came from. They're going to have to declare whether they are required to quarantine for 14 days. Nobody's going to come to the city from those states that are required quarantining. And if you talk about Vegas, Orlando, San Antonio, Chicago, the McCormick Center, all of those places, they are going to be calmed and dead in the water.
So this is, and this is why we're talking about this today, is we're getting ready to come out of the leisure season right now. And remember, everything started opening up in June and July, and people have done some business in June and July and now through August. All the waterfront areas around the country. But now what's getting ready to happen is all those places are getting ready to slow down. And there's no urban business. And I always there's three meccas in America, and it's where all the people go. And there's nothing like them anywhere else in America, because I have restaurants everywhere. And the numbers that you do at these three areas are totally different than anything else. There's not even a close second. But Times Square, Disney, and the Las Vegas Strip. So when you look at the business that's done, and now your leisure's getting ready to slow down, that was at the waterfront where people are outdoors, de Blasio has let Times Square be worse than it was back in the 70s and 80s. He doesn't care, just like he doesn't want anybody to come to New York. I don't know what his plan is, but he doesn't care. Just go look at Times Square. Vegas is doing everything they can. Disney is doing everything they can. But at the same time, we're shutting down more hotels and restaurants in Orlando right now because the business is just not there with Universal and Disney down there. But this is the next 30 days. When we get into September and there's no conference business, there's no convention business, and there's no leisure at Times Square, Vegas, and all these areas, the San Antonio Riverwalk, New Orleans, that are huge convention cities, Chicago, huge convention city, Orlando, huge convention city, I think everybody's business is going to dip.